Good morning, guys. It's January 28th. We're actually in Wyatt Bay on Quadra Island, just beside Octopus Islands. And we are just about to raise the anchor to get ready to go through these little islands and take the Narrows for Okisollo. We're just starting to get a push from the current. You can see the whirlpools and tide rips starting to form. Slack tide was about 20 minutes ago, so I'm a little bit late, but it'll be all right. So it's pretty shallow here. It's about 30 feet. The depth sounder says 29 feet right now, but you can see the rocks showing up right there. Pretty shallow.
So we got Okisollo Rapids at the perfect timing because in the big tides, this area can whip up a pretty mean standing waves to the point where people actually surf there. So I'll try to find you a little image or something. But yeah, you definitely need to plan this passage well. You need to know what you're doing with the tides.
So we're motoring. We're just going through the current. It's actually pushing us at 5.5 knots, which is great because I'm only using about 600 watts or so, which is like about a knot and a half of actual engine, just enough to keep a good steerage. And then you can see the tide rip right there. There's a big whirlpool, and then on the other side I can see the driftwood is actually drifting the opposite way than I am. So since I can see the tide rip, I can just aim and keep going in this stretch of water so that I get as much push as I can from this current, because that's a pretty good push. Like it's a 4 knots of current or so. Over 8 knots. This is great. I'm sure we're gonna hit just over 10 knots when we cross just after current passage. Because we're still at the wide part, so we're still gonna pick up some speed. I'm hoping that by hugging the starboard shore, which is the windward shore right now. So in the lee of the island here, I'm hoping there's going to be a bit less wave action, which there's not much, but there's about 20 knots of wind, so there's some potential for some pretty good waves. And just like that, there's no wind at all. We're a few kilometers away from Kelsey Bay, so we'll see what the wind does, and if he stays like that, I might actually pull into Kelsey Bay, which I'm not a huge fan of that spot because I can't anchor, and the marina, I don't know how much it costs, but we'll see what it looks like. So there's actually 5 knots of current in this channel right now, and if I want to make it to Kelsey Bay over there, I have to point straight for this island here because we're actually doing so much leeway. It's hilarious. What the fuck? That's bad. I can't turn around. I can't fit any further in. What the fuck do I do? I have to go forward a little bit, but that's gonna be hard. So I moved because I was mostly worried about my my rig getting in contact with this pile, because like it's about the same height as my mast is, and like at some point my railing was like right on top of the dock. What so the fuck? I really don't want to take any chances, and same thing with this guy. I'm hoping that it's offset just enough with my rigging that if ever I lean towards it, that I'm not going to get any damage or damage it, because that looks expensive. I don't want to ruin that. I think it's gonna be a long night. To finally get through the Johnstone Strait is a pretty big deal to me because Having only 3-hour range at 3 knots when there's currents that are like about 6 to 7 knots at time in most of that channel, it's not ideal. So I really have to time it well. I had to wait for the right wind to go through, and I only have a few days, so I'm probably gonna have to end up waiting for weather at some point. But it brings me about a little bit more than halfway to my destination, though. End of Johnstone Strait after about 90 miles of currents and narrows and rapids and waiting for tides every 6 hours. There's about 5 knots of current pushing us right now, so we're cruising at 6.5, 7 knots, which is great. We're just approaching Telegraph Cove over there. That's not where we're headed. We're gonna try to get to Port McNeil because I'm running pretty low on supplies because it's been over a week since I left Harriet Bay. I keep hitting big logs because they're so hard to see. There's one right there and one right off the bow. They're so hard to see in the chop. At least I have a really thick hull, so I'm not too worried about any damage or anything like that, but I still don't like hitting stuff. There's another one right there. I haven't come across any sailboats, and the first sailboat I come across just turns out to be a sister ship to mine. And it's a catch rig, which one of the rarer ones. Woohoo! Fastest we've gone all day. We're just cruising into Port Hardy at 5 knots, and we're actually going to go anchor in the estuary because I want to be well sheltered for this 30 knots tonight. As you can see, it's a pretty big bay and it's wide and open. I mean, it's fairly sheltered from the south, but then from the east it's completely open. And the southeast tend to veer into easterlies up here. So it turned out that there was way too many crab traps in the estuary, and I got worried about snagging who knows what's down there because there was little buoys everywhere. So I pulled into the dock.